Oh,
Teddy says, welcome to the Leading at the Next Level podcast with Dove Development Consulting, the show built to provide ongoing support for your leadership journey. So you hear Teddy barking in the background. This is Cindy and I doing a test, and we are working through several different things in the whole Leading at the Next Level community. And we'll dig into more of that later. Right now, I'll kind of tee it up and say the reason we're doing this together, we're capturing a podcast episode, but it's going to be kind of dual purpose because we've got several different things that we're excited to share with you. We're excited to launch. Cindy, before I go into some of the different technical pieces, how about you talk about what I've spent a ton of time on recently and just submitted over into the formatting process yesterday?
yes, thank you, Wes. We are in some exciting times, everyone. Exciting for Wes and I, but excited to get this out to each of you as well. Wes's third book, The Values Advantage, is currently in final formatting and is scheduled to be released on February 20, 2026, which is National Leadership Day. So we're in the process of putting together a structured and trademarked framework for applying the values advantage so that everyone in your organization, top to bottom, understands the specific behaviors involved in modeling their values daily and how doing so really impacts everyone that they serve. We have recently had the opportunity and the pleasure to do a pilot session for an organization that we've been helping for a number of years. And we had an opportunity to host the values advantage for them and to start helping them move the needle in implementing the values that they already had that they've landed on for the organization. We helped them firm them up, but the actual session was to help their team understand how they demonstrate the values throughout the organization to one another and to their clients and customers, and how they see each other demonstrate the values of the organization, not only one another as a team, but also Nell Marie and Gil as part of the team, but leading the entire organization. So it was really a great time for everyone. We saw eyes open, aha moments, and great interaction and discussion around how they saw each other applying the values in the organization, and things that they were thinking about, but the conversations would not have happened if they hadn't been brought together to discuss them. So it was just really great.
Yeah, it was a blast. And more specifically on the values advantage, it was a lot of fun to write the book, not because it was like this in-depth study. It was really a case study. It's something that we had lived and experienced. For the last several years, starting in mid 2021, we had such a cool opportunity to watch directly an organization, the Waynesboro Landscape and Garden Center team specifically with Craig and Kim Johnson, before they even took ownership, really embed their 5 core values into every decision that they made, every behavior that they put in place. And we've watched how those core values have really been the foundation of what they've done, how they've now almost tripled their overall revenue. They've bought additional businesses. It's just crazy to see how that's happened. Now, with that whole process in place, we've got something really, really unique that we're going to do for the launch of the Values Advantage. So Cindy mentioned we're set to officially be published on February 20, 2026. And it'll be live where you can order the hardback, paperback through Amazon. We'll have some different stuff. We're working on some relationships with publishers and wider scale printing and so on that we've not done with my previous 2 books. But we're planning kind of a launch process that we're doing with this. We're going to have a small window like we've done with the first 2 books, where for probably 5 to 10 days, maybe a week, 2 weeks, something in that process, that time frame, where we'll have it available, the pre-order option on the ebook for just 99 cents. Now, we're going to be doing something really, really fun. So with this book, not only have we had some amazing people contribute, and I think Cindy's going to chat a little bit about that, a prologue, an introduction, and a foreword to the book that's very, very tied to folks that we've seen walk and live and model and exemplify the values that are so core to them. We've also worked with several different clients that we've got great relationships with to create a real world examples chapter that wraps up the book after the framework and that Cindy just mentioned that we map out in the final chapter that I wrote. But that final chapter of the book, the appendix, if you will, is called Real World Examples. And we've got around a dozen folks that have participated in that. And we're going to be doing something on January 18th, tied in with that launch process, tied into that um, the pre-order that we're going to be doing on Amazon for the 99-cent ebook to really start the promotion and get it widespread and get the visibility out there, where we're going to host several of those folks that have contributed to both that real world examples part and maybe some of the prologue introduction forward folks as well. We'll see who all is going to be available. And hopefully we can do it on a platform like this. It won't be wide access like we've done previously. I think with Leading with Clear Purpose, we did something that we streamed to our Facebook and our LinkedIn. We're not going to do that this time. It's going to be something that we want to do private because of the technology we're going to talk about for shortly. But right now, Cindy, how about you explain a little bit? So in wherever you're accessing this, the show notes, it has some opportunities that you can sign up for direct access to the event that we do on January 18th at 6 p.m. We were initially looking at doing it a little bit earlier. We've had something that we've got to be a part of earlier that day. So we think it's going to serve everybody else to kind of settle down in the evening, about a 30-minute session where we can really drive some cool things. And we've got some special bonuses built in. But Cindy, how about you talk about some of the contributors?
I'd love to, Wes, but it's hard to pick just a few because these individuals mean so much to us just over the time that we've worked with them and seen the way they apply values and how they've changed organizations. It's really a deep meaning for us. So, but I'll do it. Dr. Robert Walker, I'll start with. He is a retired lieutenant colonel and now the director of workforce service operations for the Virginia Employment Commission. Now, Dr. Rob, which we affectionately call him, he has shared through the real world examples and is going to talk a little bit about when we stop posting values, when they stop posting values and start living them, how their veteran employment program soared from the high 40s in ranking to top 10 nationwide. And it was real proof that true transformation begins with the heart. We have known Dr. Rob for, oh gosh, 8 or 10 years or maybe more, Wes. And he is just an absolutely phenomenal person. And we've seen him live out these values. So it's so exciting and just deeply, meaningful to us that he is contributing to this book in this way. Another individual I'd love to talk about is Jorge Velasco, president and CEO of BR Printers, a global organization. He talks about their values of cascade, it spells the word cascade, and how cascade became the way that they actually operate under pressure, not just through words on a slide, but through what their clients say about them, how they really delivered absolute miracles in choosing the right thing, even when it was harder than any other options they had on the table, but it became their competitive advantage. We have known Jorge for several years. We worked in his organization before he became president of BR Printers, providing training and development, and he's just a phenomenal person. Mark Cole is CEO of Maxwell Leadership. Mark spoke at our Leadership Legacy event in June of this year of 2025. He'll be back for June of 2026. So we'll talk about that more another time. But we have watched Mark live out the values that he and his organization say they have, and he's implementing these throughout his organization. He's going to bring more about that to you in June. Lane Jones, now Mark wrote the foreword to the book, by the way. Lane Jones wrote the prologue to the Values Advantage. She has become a dear friend. She is a branding and marketing expert of Joan Lane's Branding. She is the chief entrepreneurial officer there. She has also helped us in countless ways with a launch that we are doing for the Values Advantage and on multiple other projects. I believe Wes is going to talk a little bit about that now with the Leading at the Next Level community.
Yeah, it's been just amazing. Cindy mentioned Dr. Rob and what he did. It was so cool to read his piece. And it actually took us through that decade that we've worked so closely with the Jobs for Veterans State Grant team. And I could go through each of them, the Gil Colemans and the Jordan Roars and the Josh Stevens and the Josh Hales and all the folks that have written segments in that final real world examples chapter. And I can't wait for whomever hears this to get access to not just that special live call that we're going to do with them, but also to get access to the book to see how those tools really impact the organization. Now, Here's where you're probably saying, okay, Wes, what's the deal with this leading at the next level community thing? Because I heard you reference it. You're talking about some of the new technology and so on and so forth. Here's the deal. We've been working hard behind the scenes, and I'm just going to give you a big picture because the answer is I don't know all the details yet. We're figuring them out, and that's why we've not really pushed it widely just yet. But I'm giving you the access right now in the show notes, wherever you're accessing this. You can join the Open Leadership Forum within our new Leading at the Next Level community at no cost. Can kind of help us beta test it. We're not ready to launch it publicly and widely just yet. We're working on some of the details. That's one of the things that Lane Jones is helping us with. Also in kind of the rebrand and a restructure of our Leading at the Next Level program we started back in late 2018. Talk about that more in a minute too. But we're putting together a community because we want people to be able to not just access the tools we have, to be able to benchmark and sharpen the saws of one another because we all get stronger together in this community, this platform, whether it's through the new app that I'll talk about in just a few seconds, or just through the online access through this Leading at the Next Level community. We want to be able to put tools in your hand and it build to the leadership legacy idea that Cindy mentioned earlier for last year's event, the 2026 event that's coming up, and just an overall feel that we can constantly build toward that leadership legacy that we all need to provide for the teams who are there. So we're going to do that through the Leading at the Next Level community. Right now in the show notes, again, you've got access to join in the Open Leadership Forum at no cost. We'll be building that out more to where there's different levels of access, different circles, different ways you can tie into different things. There's going to be challenges and there's going to be a leaderboard to see who's the most active, tons of different stuff because we want it to be a community that drives results for your leadership journey. Now, I mentioned the apps, and we right now, as we share this, we have the LATNL, Leading at the Next Level Leadership Guide, available on both the Apple Store and the Google Play Store at no cost. You can download either, and that's where you can not only access the community, but also all of the digital courses. Sydney and I've got a bunch through that Leading at the Next Level digital program alone. There's now more than 175 lessons in that. And if you've got access to it, and we're restructuring some of those things, again, we'll get into that in just a minute. If you've got access, you'll be able to do that all through your mobile device. You can access all of this through dove-development.net at any point in time, but you can do it through your mobile device anywhere, anytime, all in one platform, the community, the digital courses, all the different things. So again, in the show notes, there's links to on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Here's one of the things that we're working to do with this. So over the last year or so, through our Leading at the Next Level podcast, I've done a lot of interviews. I started doing some really going into the Leadership Legacy event with the executive panelists and many of our partners. We never say sponsors because it's strong partnerships. We want to make sure it's win-win both ways. And we're doing some things within the community too. And I'll come back to that. It's not scripted, but I'll share it. We started in the podcast doing a lot of live interviews with those partners, with those executive panelists, where we really focused in going into 2025 about their clear purpose for accepting leadership responsibility. In each of those cases, we used a streaming platform that we've had for a number of years, and we pushed it out to our Facebook and our LinkedIn business pages, mainly to drive awareness and to give folks visibility around those partners, around the people that we're working with, and the theme of the overall event. And that became our podcast theme. And we've been able to do some pretty cool interviews since. And more recently, I've even dipped over into the MMA world and the music industry and had some different folks still talking about what's your purpose? What are your values? What's the theme of what we're working towards? Moving forward, we might still do some that push to that Facebook and LinkedIn business platform to have that visibility, but the vast majority soon will be done through that community format. We're also working through that community format. The audio will always be available through all of our different platforms, be it Spotify and YouTube and Audible and all the places that you can access your podcasts and so on. But the videos will be almost exclusively available here in this community that we can drive it to and really make it more of a feel so you can have more of an interactive approach as opposed to whatever limitations might be in a Facebook or a LinkedIn or even a YouTube. Now, within that community, real quick, back on the leadership legacy and the experience, the events that will happen each June, we're working to build a way that our trade show, our partners that participate in the trade show can have a virtual presence leading up to, so they can communicate with and really send their message. Here's what we're doing at the trade show. Here's why, who we want to meet. Here's how you can interact with us better. So they can even have that level of interaction leading up to through this community, through certain circles within this community. So it's a lot of different pieces that we're doing. I'm clearly excited about it. And Cindy's going, oh dear God, what are the details? And I'm going, I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's what Grok's for, and so on. Cindy, I didn't talk about it much. I referenced the 175 plus lessons in our Leading at the Next Level. We've got a new virtual, a chat agent built in to make it even easier to find the right stuff. It's called the Leading at the Next Level Guide. And we've recently restructured it completely. Do you mind talking about that restructure process and some of the things around that? I might close with a little bit about what Lane's helping us put together there.
That sounds good. The new modules are created so that you have access to whatever level of resources works for you. So there's an access that you could come in and there's no charge. It's access that is intended to add value to you because you are part of the community, and to reach out to other individuals and meet them within the community and build a relationship there. And then there will be different levels of modules for folks that want another level of access to the leadership lessons and access to the community that includes the Leading at the Next, the Leadership Legacy event, the trade show access. It's just going to be a whole stair-step approach to what Dub Development and Consulting has to offer, which is also being built out. Now, to the chat agent, this is something that I think was absolutely necessary. It was Wes's kind of brainchild. And he's right. I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes, or asking a lot of questions, but it was definitely the right choice. The chat agent is in training, so we're training it right now. So if you use the chat agent, give it a little bit of time if you're not getting the answers that you want, but you can pop in some keywords so that you can search the database for what you want and where you're wanting to go. Wes mentioned 175 leadership lessons. So if you put in some keywords of what you're looking for, that will help you to find, something much quicker than scrolling through 175 lessons. We also have them categorized. So there's different modules in that way where they are in categories too. So if you're looking at a specific category like core values, you can click on that and it'll have all of our lessons that have core values. That's in a different module. That's probably a paid access. Is that what you were wanting, Wes?
Yeah, that's great. And see, Cindy doesn't even know all the details yet because I've been spinning a lot of plates, throwing a lot of different things at her. But that's just part of it. That's what when I say pray for her, I mean it. That's what she gets to have me all the time. But the reality is, for the years that we've had this, launching the Leading at the Next Level complete program in late 2018, it's always been listed at a monthly. There used to be a 3-month, a 6-month, a 12-month access, and lifetime access. And we're kind of moving away from some of that. We might offer an annual package and so on. We'll see. We're working through that with Lane Jones. She's helping us. She's a branding expert. She's helping us build out some of those things, in addition to one of the joint ventures we're looking at with her of really building out that trademark framework for applying the values advantage. But specifically with the Leading at the Next Level program, there will be different tiers of access. It's always been a $49 a month, one single price point. And that's included continuing education credit for HRCI and SHRM in the HR space. And we've worked with a number of different entities through that process as well. And we've realized that not everybody needs that. So we've offered a discounted, a half off rate for the folks that just want the courses and don't need the assessment. So you'll have complete access to all the lessons in the recorded part. And we'll do one live lesson the way it stands right now every month for the folks that have that tier of access. And I believe that's going to be priced at $25 a month. And my goodness, I had a friend the other day, Cindy, ask, hey, what do comparable programs out there, what are they priced at? What do they look like? And my answer was, I don't know. I've never seen a comparable program to what it is. I mean, we've been very involved in different communities, and I've never seen one with the depth, with the breadth, and with all the content in a recorded process, and offer the level of live access that we do, including the Q&A that we never record, that we do live to help folks go through specific issues and questions that they've got. I've never seen anything like it, so I can't really price it. But now we've got a $25 access. More of this is going to be coming out. A $49 a month access that gives access to the community, the continuing education credits, the assessment modules, and so on. And we've got a premium access that Cindy referenced. I think that's going to be around $99 a month, but that includes no cost, no additional cost for access to the events. It includes quarterly live sessions that won't be recorded, that give you access to benchmark. And we do some live Q&A with some of the executive leadership think tank members and other executives around the country, around the globe that we get to work with, that will be very, very exclusive, typically in the months where there are 5 Wednesdays, because we typically do the lives on the first and second. And some months we've got an extra about 4 or 5 times a year. So we'll do some extras there. And the second live lesson will probably be in that middle tier to where we still do it. We at that $49 a month access point that we've always had. You'll still get the 2 live ones a month that we offer. But the $25 a month, maybe not quite as much. So we'll work through some of those. If you've had access for years and years and years, if you jumped on early and got a lifetime access, we're going to honor it. We're going to take care of folks. We're going to make sure we're giving value, but we've got some cool things that we can make this more feasible for everybody at every level. And we'll have more of that detail right now in the show notes. I've got the Leading at the Next Level landing page. Lane's going to be building that out, making it a little bit more appealing, because the ones I do are functional. They're just not as cool as what she makes. So we're thankful she's working with us on that. So anyway, a lot of different things we've covered there. Cindy, anything I've missed? Anything else you want to add?
Nothing that you miss, but we enjoy doing these podcasts, and I think Wes is going to wrap it up with some outro things. But
Yeah.
appreciate you being here.
Yes, indeed. And like we always say, if you have need for continuing education, we will always maintain some level of kick the tires, whether it's a 14-day or some type of trial access that lets you get jump into the community, do some of what we do, check out, hey, does this really fit for what you need? So we can serve you at the best level. If you've got that need, send us an email at admin@dove-development.net. Easy for me to say, right? And we'll hook you up with something. Might be in the show notes. It may not, depending on when you're accessing it, but reach out. There's always a way to get in touch with us. We're not hard to find. We hope this serves you well. And we'll close it with a short thing to disconnect and get the audio ended. Make it a great day. We'll see you soon. And God bless.